Alrighty, we're gonna turn this computer cord into an extension cord because I don't need an extension cord or a computer cord. So we're gonna take our 3-wire end here. We're going to cut this end off that we don't need. By the way, this inside of this is wore out. That's why we're changing it to a regular extension cord. So we'll strip our wire jacket. We'll just go around it gently. Just score the outer jacket. Bend it down and break our... You want to make sure you don't cut your conductors underneath. So here in the country I was born in, your black wire is live, your white wire is neutral, and your green wire is ground. So we'll strip our wires here. We're going to turn our soldering iron on because we're going to tin these wires. So we'll turn our iron on. We'll open up our plug here, receptacle end. This one is a lit end, so we know we have power when we plug in. That's what's nice about these. You can get, I bought these at Harbor Freight. That is one nice thing Harbor Freight has. Along with this beautiful tool bag I bought, I just got this at Harbor Freight and I really like it, so I don't always have to keep looking for tools all the time. Then this middle part I could have like a little jug with my wire nuts and a few staples and a few emergency things like a couple switches and outlets. And I can put them in this red container and stick them in here. So we will take and we will slip this back end on here. We'll open up our screws here. We'll stick our wires into the end here. Strip with our 18 gauge hole. Okay, so we'll twist our strands together. We are using electrical solder, which is rosin core, and it's 4060. We'll dip the wire into our flux here. Clean our iron. Get some solder on our iron here, and we'll see how I get a nice flow through on the wire there. I'll bring the camera down and do the other two close up so you can see it better. Twist your strands together so they're all together nice and tight. Dip it into the flux, get the whole thing covered I'll turn our iron back on. This one heats up really quick. And we'll do our white wire. We'll twist our... I'll strip that a little longer because it's a little short. Twist our strands together. And we'll dip it into our flux. Clean our tip. Get our solder onto our iron here. Get some solder on the top, and I'll go underneath here. See how I get a nice, see how I'm getting a nice flow through there? And I'll do the same with our black wire. And I'll go underneath here. See how I got a nice flow through on all of the wires there? And you want to tin your iron when you're done to save your tip. Okay, so here in the country I was born in, our outlets and receptacles are polarized. Your green wire goes on the green screw. White wire goes on the silver screw, which is the wider slot. The black wire goes on this brass screw, which is the narrow slot. So we'll hook this up. We'll start with our white wire. We'll just put it in the hole. Make sure we don't get our insulation under the pressure plate. So we'll get it, make sure, we'll use our Robertson 1 screwdriver. We'll just tighten this up. Make sure it's tight, like that. We'll put our black one. Tinning the wires makes it easier so you don't have to struggle trying to keep the strands together as you bend them and move them to put them in the hole. So right there's where we want to go, right there. One thing I like about these plugs and receptacles is they have a little light in them so you know there's power when you plug into it. There's our black on the brass, and I make sure our insulation's not pinched under that pressure plate. We'll stick our green into the ground terminal here. Make sure it's tight and our insulation is not under the pressure plate. So I'll just go around and check all my screws. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, so we got our, so you'll see this little notch here. So when we go to put our end on here, so we'll find our little notch here. See that little notch here and this little notch here? Slide it in like that so it seats right in there nicely. Then we'll tighten our screws. Make sure it's tight. Now up here we'll close our clamp and we'll make sure our cord stays centered here. Okay, now we can plug this in and verify our polarity is correct. And I like that light showing us that we have power. You can see the chart here on our tester. Plug it in, and you'll see the two orange lights lit, so you know it's hooked up properly. You can see the chart. And another way you can verify it is take your tester, your no contact tester. And you can go up to your, so you have the wide slot and the narrow slot. Put it in your narrow slot like that and verify it's hooked up correctly.